From taking people out of the crowd to play,
When I went on the ice, I think it was just a buzz of, who is this guy?
to giving out free wins.
So we have a goal.
These are the only NHL rules you didn't know about. And one rule you definitely haven't heard of, you can't build a wall of snow at the goal. And of course, it's explained in Rule 67. A goalkeeper shall be assessed a minor penalty when he deliberately piles snow or obstacles at or near his net, which is exactly what Marc-Andre Fleury tried doing back in 2019.
You're going to say he put snow in there, like trying to stack the goal line to make it a little bit more difficult?
With that eating grin, bro knew exactly what he was doing. But one player tried to break a rule you never see tested. See, hockey sticks are naturally curvy, and there's actually a limit to how curvy it can be. Anything over 3/4 of an inch is technically illegal. Now, does that really matter in the game? Technically, yes, because too much of a curve can make shots harder to read. But on the other hand, it's basically never tested. So when Jason Spezza realized he was holding one, he straight up tried to bury the evidence.
Oh, look at how thin it is at the front to begin with. See, there's the first problem with the stick. Look what he does. He's looking, he sees it, he knows he's in trouble. So he breaks it. I'm not going to buy that one.
Ottawa penalty, number 19, Jason Spezza. 2 minutes for having an illegal stick.
2 minutes is honestly not that bad, considering he tried to hide it like a body. But NHL standards for conduct are basically just made up as they go, because hockey's gotta be the only sport where you can watch grown men fight on live TV, but also where they aren't allowed to emote.
Manson knocked down. A boarding penalty coming up, and it's going to go against the Leafs.
Yeah, that's where they draw the line. And Josh Manson found out the expensive way when he got fined $2,486 for that. The NHL is really out here banning emotes like it's Fortnite, which is also banned. Well, only for the Vancouver Canucks. See, whenever they'd go on the road, all the players would bring their consoles to game, and that alone is no problem. It just got a little out of hand.
Line A and Ehlers bought TVs in various places where they didn't have. They just leave them there.
I mean, personally, I still don't see the issue, but welcome to the NHL, where team bonding is not allowed. But something that is allowed is that scores automatically count if the net gets dislodged.
Panarin! And it's in the net with a count! It crossed the line, but the net was off!
Integrity of the net is not disturbed. It will count. It hit Dobson.
Well, seems fair to me. I mean, if the net moves after the shot, that's the goalie's problem, not the shooter. There are some caveats though. First, the puck must have been shot before the net was knocked off, and second, it must have been a clear scoring attempt. Otherwise, it gets a little blurry, like the time it happened to the Predators.
Favor, Kaprizov!
The ability to say the continuation of the play. Boy, that's interesting too, because actually Johansson maybe misses the net on this one. The call on the ice is goal.
There's literally no way that's a goal, but they still got it. So what the hell is the point of the replay camera? Well, at the very least, it's to make sure no one's playing with a broken stick. See, if you break a hockey stick, you end up with 2 carbon fiber swords, and shockingly, that's kind of a safety hazard.
Boy lost it in his feet for a moment, got it back to Perry into the middle. To Perry scores! Broke his stick in the process.
So in order to prevent slashing, tripping, or even stabbing, the second your stick breaks, you must drop it before touching the puck or another player. Otherwise, it's a penalty.
Helmet was on the hit by Fair, and that shot, and then handed back on to Shen, and then Pietrangelo, and his stick broke. Well, of course it did.
2 shots, 2 broken sticks for Pietrangelo.
Moves to the high slot, dishes across, and a broken stick. Upset, heading to the bench.
He had that in half of the stick, or 3/4 of the stick.
Rage quitting from a broken stick is hilarious, but one rule would make anyone rage quit if it happened to them, because one of the wildest rules is that if the puck gets stuck in the goalie's gear, it still counts as a goal. And there's absolutely no way anyone knew this was a thing until it happened to Cam Ward.
Set it up in behind the net. Where is that puck? It might have gotten lodged in his pad.
Well, Cam Ward went back to stop that puck, and the puck was right in his skate. He didn't even know it.
The puck is caught in the goaltender's skate. His skate crosses the line completely, so we have a goal.
Ultimately, it just comes down to the puck still being live since no whistle had been blown. But I'm throwing a 12-pack on the rink if that happens to my team. And if I hit the ref, it probably wouldn't even matter. Because one of the funniest rules is that refs are considered to be part of the ice. See, unlike the NFL or NBA where hitting a ref can stop a play. In the NHL, if the puck hits a ref, they just keep going like nothing happened.
It's along the post. It's in front. Jokinen poked at it. It's still loose. And finally the whistle blows. Did not go in.
Thinks he has it. It comes through. What, did that hit the ref after it hit the post?
Yep, that's exactly what happened. The ref basically signed a one-play contract for the Rangers, but that's the closest they can get to interference. If the puck rebounds off them for a goal,
Now, and he gets it in off the referee. It goes in, but that will not count. You can't score off the referee.
I've never seen anything like this one right here.
yeah, as funny as that is, bounces like that don't count. But not everything in hockey is as obvious as that. It should be obvious that you can't play with two sticks. Try telling that to Alexander Semin.
patine devant lui, contre-attaque avec Carrick, s'arrête devant Markov, remonte la zone.
Okay, obviously that was just an insanely rare case of a stick sticking to him. But seriously, if you play with two sticks normally, that's a 2-minute minor. You can carry a teammate's stick to them, but if you engage in play whatsoever with it, congrats, you played yourself. And Alex Ovechkin actually played himself just by wearing something the league didn't like. See, early in his career, he famously wore a mirrored tinted visor. Think hockey sunglasses.
It's too bad you're not a natural skater. I'm sure that would have helped. I'm being sarcastic. Don't look at me like that. I can't even see your eyes through the Darth Vader. Are you having any fun yet, my friend? Thank you very much. There we go. We're trying to sell the personalities of the game, son.
Yeah, dumbass, the visor is his personality, and he rocked that thing for a while, but at a certain point, it started getting on the nerves of other players.
Opposing goalies reportedly complained to the league that the visor gave him an unfair advantage.
Brodeur started crying to the league. I can see his eyes. What are you talking about? So the league said, like, I can wear visor.
Ovi's such a funny ass dude, but he's low-key right. Who cares if he can't see your eyes? Well, apparently a lot of people cared. So many, in fact, the league general managers voted against it 29-1, and the visor wouldn't live to see another day. But one time, president of the NHL almost didn't live to see another day, because after he enforced Rule 66.1, an entire city crashed out. See, the rule basically states that if a team refuses to comply with an official's rules, the ref can just end the game. In that case, whatever team did comply gets an automatic win, and if both teams refuse, the visiting team automatically wins. The only time this actually happened, the Richard riots. Basically in March 1955, Maurice Richard, one of the NHL's biggest stars, punched an official and got suspended the rest of the season and playoffs. As you might imagine, fans were not happy with the NHL president, so the league advised him not to attend the next Canadiens game. Advised is the key word, because he ended up going anyway. And when he showed up,
where he was pelted with food, got slapped in the face, and had a tomato smeared in his face. The crowd got so unruly that a tear gas bomb was set off, eventually forcing Montreal to forfeit the game.
One thing they forgot to mention is that after getting pelted by fans, the president had officials forfeit the game to the Red Wings. That is why the riot happened. Not that that makes it justified, but at least understandable. And while I hope we never get to that point again, I also think it would be kinda cool. But what's definitely not cool are hand passes. See, most people think that anytime a puck touches someone's hand, it's an automatic whistle, but the rulebook says otherwise. Rule 79 states that players can stop or bat a puck midair and even push it along on the ice as long as it's in their own defending zone. Obviously there's nuance, like you can't push it forever or pick it up or pass it to a teammate, or can you?
Just watch him right here. Yeah, there's the glove. Yeah, there was a couple blades in there, so you can see why the referee would miss it.
That ultimately may have been a goal, but it definitely shouldn't have been. But that's not the rules' fault, just the refs, as usual. Sometimes though, it's the rules' fault, because one of the craziest rules is that you can score without scoring.
Into Wheeler. Ehlers with 2 on the night gets tripped. It's a goal. Nikolai Ehlers has another hat trick. His 4th career hat trick as they call an automatic goal.
That's probably insane to see as a casual, but the logic makes sense. If a defending player interferes with a scoring attempt after pulling their goalie or knocks the goal on purpose, it's a goal.
Oh, that's a goal. He threw a stick at him. We're going to talk about it. Good point, Eddie.
I mean, if you can't score on an open goal because someone tripped you, I think turnabout's fair play. That's basically how one of the coolest hockey moves ever got stopped. I mean, the second you find a sick move in any sport, banned. And for the NHL, that's exactly what happened to the Spinorama.
Same maneuver as Ovechkin. No, what a play! Holy mackerel!
Straight up might be one of the hardest ways to score you'll ever see. And you'll never see it again, at least on shootout or penalty shot attempts. Apparently because it can blind the goalie and disrupts momentum toward the net or whatever. Basically, they think it's a cheap shot, and in some cases, it definitely is.
Coming quickly, spins, turns, and scores.
But not all of them were pulling Mason Raymond's. Can't we just let the players show off a bit? Well, actually, we can't. And maybe the best example of it is with the E-Bug. What's an E-Bug, you ask? It's the emergency backup goalie. More specifically, if both the starter and backup go down, someone who was literally in the crowd can suddenly be the guy between the pipes. And as rare as that is to see, we did see it in 2020 with 42-year-old David Ayres. This guy had played hockey his whole life, but never quite made it to the pros until...
A few weeks in, they had a couple of players that were shooting on empty nets. So I thought, bring my gear in and they could shoot on me instead of an empty net. And the guys liked it. They wanted me to be there and kept asking me to come out. I guess they trusted in me and asked me if I would be one of the emergency goalies for them.
And suddenly, he was the Leafs E-Bug. And with a game coming up against the Hurricane, he went straight to Toronto to sit in the stands. But it wouldn't be for long.
He's around, fed the puck in front, the goaltender's down, wiped out by his own man. Boy, that's a little bit of a slow get up there by James Reimer.
A few minutes later, I get the text message, all right, let's go. Get down here, put your gear on.
If you're confused as to why they call him in for a Hurricanes goalie going down, well, the thing is, just because the Leafs hired him as E-Bug doesn't mean they'd be the ones using him. Both teams have an E-Bug, and both teams can use each other's. So after spending all his time getting to know the Leafs players and coach, he had to make an unexpected move.
And then all of a sudden, I get a text message. A few of them come in, they're going to be like, get in there, you're going to do awesome. And I had no idea that Mrazek even got hit.
Luckily, all the players were nice to him and hyping him up, but they were thinking he was going to let every single shot in, and when play first resumed, it was looking pretty bad.
Honestly, I was a little bit heartbroken when the first one went in.
Barry with a shot, knocked out, score, painful.
Absolutely crushed when the second one went in, and at that point, I was like, you know what? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen out of this. I'd be lying if I didn't think another 2 or 3 goals would have gone in.
Honestly, only letting 2 in is mildly impressive. Plus, he did kind of find a groove and made a few stops before intermission. But when he got to the intermission, he completely locked in and even had himself a little main character moment with the team.
You guys go out and score one more goal. I'm going to hold the fort down. We're going to win this game. And they kind of looked at me all weird. Like,
well, this is what he was talking about.
With a shot. Ayres with the save. It's up for grabs. Ayres is down and he snatched that into his glove. Ayres, I'm sure, can't believe what's happening to him right now. Tavares centering pass, a chance. Ayres said no. Gardner to the slot. A shot blocked by Van Riemsdyk. The rebound off the stick of Ayres. It goes high. Chopped in. Ayres again says no. He's got it. Keep the puck, David. You've just got a National Hockey League victory.
If that's not a Hollywood-type ending, I don't know what is. At the very least, they should make a movie out of this next rule, because there's even a rule for emergency backup referee. Like, what would happen if there's 15 minutes till game time and 2 of your refs aren't there? Well, on January 15th, 1983, we saw the answer, because a snowstorm stranded a ref and a linesman who were supposed to work a Jersey Devils Hartford Whalers game. So with only 1 ref on the ice, NHL Rule 31.11 states that the league will make every attempt to find suitable replacement officials. Otherwise, the managers or coaches of the 2 clubs shall agree on replacement referees and linesmen. In theory, that means you could just pull 2 randos from the crowd to throw on skates, but obviously that didn't happen. Instead,
they went to each coach of each team and they decided to pick a player who was not going to play that day.
I mean, I don't know if it's that smart. If the other option is Fat Joe in the nosebleeds, players seem like an obvious choice. So for the first period, Devils winger Gary Howitt and Whalers defenseman Mickey Vulcan actually acted as on-ice officials. They didn't have to do it the whole game since Fournier and Asseltine made it in time for the second period, but the fact that they had to do it at all makes this one of the weirdest rules ever. But one rule you've probably never even thought of: goalies can't be team captains. At first that seems unfair until you realize why. Captains are the only players allowed to talk to refs about rule questions questions on the ice. And in 1948, Bill Durnan, while serving as goalie and team captain of the Canadiens, would argue calls a lot, meaning he'd leave the crease a lot, meaning the goal was constantly unguarded, leading to a lot of unscheduled timeouts for the Canadiens. He actually did it so often that he became the last goalie to be a team captain when the league introduced the Durnan rule, barring goalies from the position forever. This is probably one of the few times I agree with the rule, but damn, that isn't smart. Unfortunately, not as smart as this next one, because one rule only exists because of one player, and just from one of his plays. The Sean Avery rule. See, in Game 3 of the 2008 Stanley Cup playoffs between the Rangers and Devils, Sean Avery pulled off one of the weirdest moves ever seen.
After the point man, it's Yager. Johnny Gomez in the ring. Young sets up Yager. Yager for Gomez, holding on to it out in front. They score! The guy you talked about, Sean Avery.
Call it tactics, call it antics, call it effective in the end. This is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this.
The move itself is already whack, but the fact it actually worked? Yeah, not surprised Martin Brodeur didn't shake his hand. I'd be throwing hands personally, but the thing is, waving your stick around like that wasn't technically illegal at the time, mainly because no one even thought of it. So the very next day, the NHL did some rulebook amendment.
Just a day after an occurrence on the ice, that would be the norm. Cole and Campbell said Monday that a 2-minute unsportsmanlike penalty will be given for anything looking like that. And while Sean Avery continued not to discuss it Tuesday afternoon.
To be honest, that seems pretty fair to me. But while Sean had rules invented to stop his play style, Rob Ray had rules invented to stop his fight style. Because even though his size and strength were what made him a feared enforcer in the 90s, what made him truly legendary wasn't his punching power, it's the shirt. Before fights, he'd loosen his shoulder pads. During fights, he'd take off his shirt. And before the actual game, he'd allegedly cover himself in Vaseline to make sure the opponent couldn't hang on during a fight. Obviously, not being able to grab the other person is a huge advantage, so the NHL added the Rob Ray rule. If you take off your jersey or enter a fight without it tied down, see ya. And it's not the only time a reverse dress code violation happened in the NHL, because at one point, not having a mask was illegal, which probably seems strange given that hockey's a game on ice with blades with pucks going 100 miles per hour. But ironically, the only reason we have the rule that mandates masks now is because of another unofficial rule that wouldn't let players use them. Yeah, seriously. See, in 1959, legendary goalie Jacques Plante was tired of damaging his face in games.
Without a mask now, the guys are slapping the puck and they got the curved stick. This is slightly to the left of insane. He designed a form-fitting face mask. Grotesque looking, but it would hopefully provide added protection.
And he wouldn't find out for a while. At the time, the Canadiens had an old school coach, Joseph Blake, the type of old school coach that thought you'd be a wimp if you used a mask. And he was ready to die on that hill until
circumstances in a game against the New York Rangers on November 1st, 1959, forced Blake to accept his star goalie's wishes to wear a mask.
I was coming in at a real bad angle, and Jock gave me the poke check. And I went head first into the backboards, and I cut my ear and I cut my cheek. I went in, I got stitched up, and I come back out, shot the puck, and I hit him right in here. It was a shot with passion.
You'd think after seeing Plante's jigsaw face that the coach might have lightened up. He did not. So Plante gave him an ultimatum. Either let him wear the mask and play, or he wouldn't play at all. Unsurprisingly, the coach caved instantly.
And Plante goes out on the ice, and we are stunned to the core. What does he do? Goes out and he wins the game.
Turns out caring about your player's health is pretty important. And after he started wearing a mask, everyone started wearing masks, which brings us full circle to the mask mandate. Because by 1974, Andy Brown of the Penguins was the last to wear a mask, and by 1979, it became league mandated for every player to have one.